Hi everyone, thank you for joining this EduBrite webinar session. Today's topic is train users in Confluence Cloud using EduBrite integration. Our integration is available in the marketplace and the name of the integration is Gilly. So you can access that add-on or app from the marketplace. Uh, Today's presenters will be Ajay Upadhyay and Manish Gupta. Myself, Ajay, I am the moderator, and Manish is going to be the presenter who will drive the demo and the discussion. The agenda for today's session is a quick introduction about EduBrite integration with Confluence, the benefits of integration, what kind of features you can get, what kind of use cases you can solve by this integration, a little bit more detailed discussion about various macros which this integration provides, a quick demo of the functionality both from the learners and admins view, and a Q&A. So the format of the session is that you can, of course, keep posting your questions in the question box, and depending on the timing, we might take those questions during the discussion itself or towards the end of the discussion. With that, Manish, you may start.
All right. Thank you very much, Ajay. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Good morning, good afternoon. We appreciate your time here. And so today we are going to focus on EduBrite platform and our deep integration with Confluence Cloud. So just a quick about EduBrite. We are a cloud-based learning management platform, and we offer you can sign up for EduBrite, and then this platform works fully independently. But beyond working independently, we offer a lot of ready integration with many enterprise platform. And one of the platform essentially is Atlassian. So with Atlassian, we are slightly tight-knit with a couple of their products which they offer. So we offer integration with Confluence Cloud, which is going to be the key focus of our conversation today. In addition to that, we also have the integration with Confluence Server, and both integration of cloud and server from end user perspective are quite similar. So if you are using any of those, you will get a good idea, or if you're considering using EduBrite platform, then this will give you a good idea from both perspective. In addition to that, we also offer integration with the Jira Service Desk, and the Jira Service Desk integration primarily focuses on training the agents, so the agents who are supporting your customers who are opening the tickets. So you can train those agents, but beyond the agents, you can actually train the actual users who are opening the tickets. So you can present some of the trainings to them, and agent also has an option to see that who, with the user who are opening the ticket, what kind of trainings they have taken, and make some recommendations. So pretty interesting use case, and we can cover that in one of the future webinars. EduBrite platform is, as I said, it's an independent cloud-based platform. So using EduBrite platform, you can build both cases for the internal training as well as external training. So you can train your employees, you can train your customers, you can train your partners, and we have solved multiple use cases. So you can completely use platform independently, but in today's context, what we are going to talk about is that when you use the EduBrite platform in integration with Confluence Cloud, you can deliver the training to the users who are in the Confluence Cloud from within the Confluence Cloud. But you may have a set of users, for example, your customer may have access to Confluence or may not have access. But what you can do, you can use the same LMS instance which is connected with the Confluence, allow these users to directly go to EduBrite cloud-based platform and take the trainings and provide the experience there. So you can have a single instance and one set of users taking training from within the Confluence, and the others are by directly logging in. Just quick benefits about the EduBrite platform. So a lot of time when Ajay and I go in some conversation, in the very beginning, actually, we came across some of the questions that why did we integrate with the Confluence? What are the benefits of integrating with Confluence? So just we all know the background of the Atlassian products, that they are very team oriented, team collaboration oriented, and Confluence specifically is a great software that is built to create knowledge bases. You can essentially allows you to build product documentation, internal policies, those kind of things. So it's a great place for that kind of information exchange, so the team stays on the same page. And even somebody joins the team at the later stage, they have an opportunity to see some of the earlier collaboration discussion that took place before they joined. So a good way to for a new joinee to catch up. And we also know that this platform is pretty well adopted by many organizations, whether they're small size companies, mid-sized companies, to some large enterprises. So what when these people are going through the knowledge base and some of those things, then we thought that wouldn't it be the best way to allow the training of these people right within the platform? And that basically was the foundation for the integration. So you can allow people to stay in the same environment where they are collaborating, where they are building the product documentation, internal policies, but present the training right within the same platform. So definitely with that, the bigger benefit you have is that you can enhance your knowledge base. And how you can do that, we allow a lot of macros. So using those macros or combination of the macros, you can embed the quizzes. So you can, if you have a product documentation or internal policy, maybe you want to embed some quick knowledge check. So you can embed a quiz in somewhere in between the document, the page, Confluence page, or at the end of the Confluence page. You can also embed a survey or feedback just to collect the feedback from the people. Or in some cases, you can also embed the courses, those you would create in EduBrite. You can also use EduBrite platform, create a lot of courses and a lot of the tests which you may create. You can make them as a reference material or as a resources. You can make them available. So if you want to have some quick knowledge check or some testing or sample test you want to present to the people to get collect some of the test their knowledges, you can do those kind of things also. In this case, user don't have to really enroll into the courses or the quizzes, but still you can present them. Another benefit is this goes towards more formal training. So you can allow user to take some formal courses. So for example, maybe somebody joined a new your organization first time and you're looking for an onboarding course for them. So onboarding course can come in two flavors. One course could come from the more HR type of a course, but then there could be another course that can be, depending upon the department you are part of, you can be given that kind of course. So that can be presented to the user. Then you can do a full tracking of how the progress is being made by the users. You can also have some mandatory type of courses, which you may have some sort of a compliance requirement or certain certification requirement, some technical certification requirement, those kind of things. And the flexibility you have here is that we support multiple enrollment options. So certain things can be auto-enrolled. So for example, onboarding courses can be auto-enrolled. Certain course you can allow users, they can be made available in the catalog. The users can view it and they can self-enroll. And these courses could be an optional courses, just maybe a soft skill type of courses or some general information type of courses. Then the user can be enrolled by their team leads into the certain courses. So that is what, from a team lead's perspective, it's if they think something is important for their team members to take, they can do. And of course, your overall administrator can also do that. You can enable some gamification option, like you can enable the badges, leaderboard, create some good friendly competition, and that can also drive some of the adoption of the trainings which users are taking. You can also, I already talked about a little bit mandatory, but you can also set up a certification. So if there is a need for any specific skills, related training. People have to go through a series of courses to acquire some level of certification, could be some administration certification. You may have seen that in cases of you, if you're a product company or a software company, you may be offering some sort of admin certification programs that can be applicable both for your the customers who are using your product, but it could also be, some of them can be applicable for internal team. So you can set up those certification. Another beautiful part is that it's this integration enables a single sign-on. So though your users are staying within the Confluence environment, but because of a single sign-on, there is no hassle of maintaining for the username and password. The content for these users are getting delivered from EduBrite, but users are consuming within the Confluence environment, and it makes the administrator's life pretty easy. And from your team lead's perspective or from your overall administrator perspective, they are able to run reports from within the Confluence, although we do support getting more detailed reports by going into the EduBrite platform. So those are also the option which you have. Just a quick high-level workflow for those who are first time trying to understand this integration. So there are a few steps that are defined here, and essentially the setup steps are pretty simple, and normally your Confluence administrator drive these setup steps. So if you already have a Confluence environment, cloud environment, your administrator can go to the marketplace, and that's where they can search for add-on called Gilly, or they can search for EduBrite, and from the marketplace they can just simply add that into your Confluence environment. The moment that is added, it automatically creates the EduBrite site with the same name. So for example, if you have company a.atlassian.net is your Confluence environment, then company a.edubrite.com would be created your as your EduBrite microsite, and this microsite will be automatically linked with your Confluence environment. The next step essentially is once the LMS site is created, then you can sync the users and groups. So in your Confluence environment, if you're familiar with it, you have many groups you would set up, and there are users in those groups. So if you want to give training to all the groups or all the users within the group, you can sync, or you can be selective. And so you can do the manual sync of these groups and the users with the EduBrite platform. So this side, essentially what it is showing, just to verify that the steps performed on the right side is on the Confluence side, and left side is on the EduBrite platform, which is connected with your Confluence environment. So the sync allows essentially to pull, as I said, the groups and users selective or all from the Confluence. The next step is optional if you want to organize your groups, or then you can do the organization of your group. And one of the example of this organization is here. So for example, you may in Confluence you have all the groups in a flatter structure, so that the groups are at the same level, while in EduBrite we support what is called is the group hierarchy. So what you can do is you can create, for example, a top level group called, in this example, training. Within training you can have a corporate group, and then within this you have a departmental group. So from your Confluence, when you sync, maybe these are the groups like a sales group and an engineering group and some other groups came, and then you put them into this structure. And the benefit of this kind of structure is that if you want to conduct some training which is common for both engineering and sales team, then you can, within EduBrite, when you are creating the courses, you can authorize those courses at the higher level, because all the users of engineering and sales are also a member of the corporate group. So that makes it a little bit simpler. But if you're conducting any training that is engineering specific, department specific, or sales department specific, then you can create those courses and authorize at that level. And similarly, in this diagram, it is showing that you can have the groups for external training, and these groups can be in a Confluence, and if your customer are accessing the Confluence, but in case your users are not accessing Confluence, then these could be the groups or similar type of group hierarchy you can set up for those people who will be directly accessing the platform. So going back onto the steps here. Once that is done, then the next step essentially is the authoring courses. So you can create courses, quizzes. You can also set up the what we call programs. Essentially, it's a learning paths, which allows you to bundle series of courses, those kind of things. And once you are completed the setup, then from your end user's perspective, they would see all that courses and tests in the Confluence environment, and then basically they can take those courses in the Confluence. So with this, I'm just going to have one more, just a slide, but I'm not going to go into the detail of this slide right now. And these are just the macros which we support. So we support these 10 different macros. And the benefit of these macros essentially is that your Confluence administrator has opportunity to leverage this macro, and they can add these macros into Confluence pages, and that allows them to provide a very personalized user experience, and they can manage and control the navigational experience that is more suitable for how your overall Confluence environment is set up. And these macros vary, so as I go into the actual demo, I may come back to this slide to cover some of these. So let me switch my gear here to the site here. So you can see here I have logged into the Confluence environment, and in the Confluence environment I have logged in as a user. And so this is just a regular Confluence page, and in this Confluence page what we have done is we have just we have some other pages which are created, and we have used another macro to organize these pages, which I'll show you in a minute. But you can see that you can have kind of a welcome page, welcome to the training portal, and some messaging there. Another macro here shows just a quick summary about this particular user. So this is a very contextual information, user specific information. So what it is showing that this user is enrolled into a 6 course, and one of the course they have completed. Similarly, this user is enrolled into 1 program and they have completed none. And similarly, it shows any badges they have earned. I'm seeing another macro that has been added here is for open learning. So open learning essentially brings a completely new dimension into the Confluence, and open learning essentially enables a learner-centric micro-learning solution. So you may have heard a lot in the learning industry that micro-learning, bite-sized content. So the purpose here is that rather than going through the full course, you can be presented with a small, quick 2, 3, 4, 5 minute type of video, small document, a PDF, PowerPoint type of a thing, which you can consume pretty quickly. So for example, if I just, and you don't need to enroll for that. So for example, if I click on any of the item here, I can start viewing this item right here. I'm just going to pause. It shows here some other similar type of items which are shown on the right side. You can see here. It also shows some, if I scroll down, some social engagement related aspects here, or just some engagement related aspects. So for example, it shows how many people have viewed this particular lesson. If you are interested in following up, you can just follow this. If you want to create your own playlist, so this gives you options. So it's kind of a little bit, you can think a YouTube type style of experience is given to you here with this kind of interface, which most of us are pretty familiar with. If you already have a playlist, you can add to your playlist. If you want to create a new playlist, you can create a new playlist. You can rate it. It also shows you the option to share in the social media, and a lot of what options which you are seeing here, depending upon your need, these can be turned off. So the next here, it shows the related lessons. The related lessons are essentially, you can have some business rules. So based on what user is seeing here on the top, if you want based on certain metadata or certain custom rules, if you want to show that what could be the relevant items or something which user has taken this particular one, then they might be interested in some of these items. You can present those kind of items to the users so they can view it. So for example, if I go into another one here, this looks like a PDF or a PowerPoint type of a document. I can do the click onto the next slide, or if I'm more interested in doing the scrolling, then I can click this option, and this allows me to go vertically down. So I'm able to view this option also. In addition to that, you can see you can enable the comment option. So in case if you want to allow your users to post the comments within what they are viewing in the open learning, they can post that here. Going back into this, another thing which you can do where it becomes really, really useful is, so for example, if you see one of the thing here that why open learning is so useful. So there are a couple of great use cases which we have seen with the open learning. One thing is that when your user takes a course, a course contains a series of different items. Multiple lessons are there. And traditionally, once they have completed a course in many organizations, we have learned and we have noticed that the course access goes away for them. Or in the cases where the course access doesn't go away, if they need to view something which they have learned some time back, they need to go through just a series of items to find exactly what they're looking for. So open learning essentially allows you, within that course, you can have a certain lesson you can enable to be made available in the open learning. And what it does, it essentially allows you to view these anytime quickly, find that specific bite-sized content and view that content so when you really need it. So that's the biggest use case. So 2 months after you completed training, if you need to really view something, you can essentially view when you need to view it. In addition to that, it also we also support what is known as a progressive learning. So if somebody is viewing a small lesson, then you can direct them that they can go and take a related course, or you can direct them that, hey, if you want to learn more about it, then there is some courses available, or there could be some instructor-led classes available, which you can allow them to direct to. So that basically is another use case which is supported from the open learning perspective. Now, let me go here onto the other pages. And then before I go to other pages, one of the things you will notice is that on the left side, you would have this, whenever you install Gilly, you will see there are 3 options that would show up here: training dashboard, open learning, and a catalog. So for those users who cannot find it easily, or maybe difficult for them to know there, this kind of organization of a page which your Confluence administrator can put together can be very helpful for you. So let me go. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go in and log in as an as a user, just to quickly show you certain things here. So I'm just changing my view to an end user here. I have changed my view as a user. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open some of these items here. We have already seen open learning, so we'll leave the open learning, but we'll open a dashboard and a catalog here. Okay, so there's a default dashboard in EduBrite, and in the default dashboard, you will see there are multiple tabs here which a user would see. And these different tabs essentially show the different items, but pretty contextually. So if you're enrolled into some program, you will see that. If you're enrolled into certain courses, you will see those kind of things. Or if you are enrolled into any event, it will show. Event essentially refers in EduBrite. Family, we refer instructor-led sessions as the events. You will be able to also see the calendar. So if there are any upcoming events, you will be able to just go here and see what are the different activities those are taking place. So you can have the calendar view of it, or you can also go into the available events area, and you'll be able to see the different classes that are coming. So this is a standard dashboard, but we do have a macro which I'm going to show you of a dashboard which allows you to customize these options which are available, the tabs here. So depending upon if you are conducting we have certain scenarios where some of our customers are only using it for instructor-led training. In those cases, the programs courses does not make sense. So they have enrolled event calendar and available event, only 3 tabs enabled here. While their other team is doing more of an e-learning style, not the instructor-led. In that case, they have turned off those tabs and left the other tabs on. So that's how you can do. This is a catalog which you can see here. So in this catalog, you can present the different items. This is more for you're making something pretty much open for available for your learners to view, and if they're interested in something, they can self-sign up. And here you have option, definitely you can filter, search for it, or you can also filter by the type. The single course represents one individual course unit. So for example, I can see all this, and if I'm interested in something, then I can just simply enroll into that particular course. Similarly, if I go into multiple courses, that essentially refers to a program. And we talked a little bit earlier that you can see here, this particular program is a series of 3 courses. Similarly, there is another program that's a series of 3 courses. So you can enroll if you're interested. Similarly, you can go to the online events. So these are instructor-led classes, and then if you're interested in enrolling in any of that, then you can simply just enroll from here. So that essentially is the from the catalog you can enroll. But after you have enrolled from the catalog, and then you are really taking that, then you can go to the dashboard and you can find all items which you are enrolled into in the enrollment areas. For example, we just enrolled into this demo course, or we enrolled to the event. Those are showing up here. So you can see this is the one which we have just enrolled into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here with taking one e-learning self-paced course here. So this is a course which your author or your administrator would create in EduBrite, but your user is consuming in the Confluence environment. And on the left side here, you would see an outline. And this is just a sample course. So depending upon what kind of a training you want to give, you have an option to organize the various content and then assemble them into a course. And we'll see some of the example of different types of content that are being supported by us. Okay, so let me pause here. So essentially in the module 1, I have a certain PowerPoint documents that has a voiceover as well as animation. So that was one example of the first slide, and then right now I'm on a second slide. If I need to just allow it to play automatically, I can allow it to play. You can see at the bottom there's a time tracker which is essentially keeping track of the time being spent by this particular user on individual slide. So we keep track at the pretty detailed level, and we conducted in the past couple of reporting webinars. So if you want to find more details, you can find that how detailed and summary level data collection we do for your reporting needs. You'll be able to see that. For the time being, I'll just click to the next to get into the next lesson here. The next one here is the Word document. So you can see the Word document. You can scroll down to see the full content of a page, and then there are 3 pages. So there's a pagination you can see. You can click, go to the next one. In certain case, if you want to allow users to download something, you can enable that option, but it's optional. So maybe if you have some instruction sheet or some pocket guide, those kind of things, then you can allow that to be downloaded. And then there is a zoom in, zoom out options those are available here in case that is of interest for your user. We also support something called a manual sign off of a lesson. So in certain cases, if you are providing some information where you want to secure a manual approval from your learner, you can have that option enabled. In this case, only after they sign off manually, they'll be able to continue to the next level. So you can have that kind of option available here. This is just a simple PowerPoint. So, and now what we are presented here is a quiz. So you can embed a quiz anywhere in the course, anywhere in the module, wherever you prefer. This is, we have at the end of the module 2. So this is a quiz, and in the quiz you can embed audio, video, those kind of things. So you can see this is question number 1, just some question information, and then there's a video, and then user can select the choice, and then you can present them immediate feedback. So in a quiz style delivery, you can present them immediate feedback. We have other option, we'll see a little bit later in the exam, where you can provide the result at the end of the when the whole test is taken. So this is a quick, you can have a podcast or a audio clip here. And if your answer is wrong, then you can be allowed to reattempt. So if you are, then you will see reattempt option here, and you can also provide some sort of a solution that a guidance to your learner, that where exactly they can go, what lesson they can read, because they have answered something wrong, and they can come back and then change their option and then continue here. And another thing, the last one here. One of the things you can see here, you can have certain questions, optional, mandatory. This quiz is mandatory, you can see here. So all subsequent items are logged. So once user passes this, then they can continue here. So you can see this user has passed, and then lock option has gone, and you can control how many options or how many attempts you want to give to the user if they don't pass in any of the test attempt they take. This is just in module 3, we are showing some example of the video type. So for example, this is the MP4 file that is being uploaded, or you can also use external sources. So if you have a content available in the external places, for example, YouTube, Vimeo, or some third-party places, you can embed that into EduBrite. And from the user's experience perspective, you can see that whether it's a content which is you uploaded to create course, or whether the content is procured from outside, the whole experience for a user is happening right here in this area. So that makes it pretty simple and intuitive from an end user experience perspective. So let me just continue here. And in this case, we are just showing a quick exam with few question types, and we support many question types, and we are showing a small set of some of them which are supported. So these are, for example, the multiple choice type of question where you can answer, have a one correct answer or more than one correct option. You can also have a sequencing, so you can just move things and put them into a certain order or fill in the blank. Or you can also have a slightly advanced question type where you can have multiple sub questions, and you can present a situation where a user has to respond to that situation, and each of the choices can have a different weighted score, so they can have a different points a user can earn for the choice they make. And let me just finish it. And if you have enabled some advanced analysis, then you can see a section-based analysis. So the questions are grouped into different sections, and you can see how much time is spent, what is the score. If these questions are tagged with certain metadata, then you can see the analysis of that, and of course you can see individual question analysis as an end user. But these all options are available only if those are allowed by your authors for your end user to see. And this is just a quick course feedback, so let me just quickly run here. You can put the comment, or you can provide some detailed feedback here. And this essentially completes the course, and you will see a congratulations prompt. You will see a score. User will get an email notification. Their managers can be set to receive a notification also, or a team lead can receive a notification, so that way they know which of the courses user has completed. If there is any certificate associated with the completion, then you will be able to see the certificate, and then the certificate can be fully customized. So that's just an example of, and then if I go back to the dashboard at this time, I will see this course has gone away from here. But if I go into the awarded courses, I'll see that there are 2 courses this particular user has completed. There's a date of completion. There is a set option for this user to print the certificate. Those options are available here. If I go into available events, which we have seen in the catalog also, so the events, as I talked to you, that includes the classroom training, or we also offer integration with various live meeting tools like WebEx, GoToMeeting, GoToTraining, GoToWebinar, Zoom, ReadyTalk, and more. So in case you are interested, you can have set up those events in EduBrite. In fact, this particular event which we are conducting right now is also set up using a similar functionality that you signed on to EduBrite's university site and launched your training from there. So this kind of experience you can present to your user, but in this case you were logged into EduBrite site, but the same thing can be accomplished from the Confluence environment also. That's what we are showing. So you can see that this user has enrolled into this class. This is a GoToWebinar class. You can see a meeting ID is shown here. And on the actual date, April 30th, definitely, as you have seen, you will see the option to launch this right from here. You can also present some handouts and other things if you need to allow a user to download certain things. Another thing which you can do for a classroom training is once this training is completed, then you can send them present them the assessment or survey related to a classroom training. So essentially, from EduBrite perspective, we are bringing the power of our learning management system inside the Confluence. And our goal here is that the different types of trainings the users are presented, whether it's a self-paced e-learning style, whether it's a classroom training, whether it's a live instructor-led training, or whether it's an open learning, informal style of learning, we are able to capture, track what different activities users are participating, and we are enabling all these different activities with the series of different macros which are available in EduBrite. Well, what I'm going to do actually, the easier would be if I change my view here as now I'm as the administrator inside the Confluence environment. So what I'm doing here is I can pick any of the page and just Confluence page and just quickly guide you that how you can just organize the different macros that are available in EduBrite to personalize experience for your users. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit this page. Just going to remove the existing macros from there. So okay, so here I'm inside a page, a new page. You can think at this point of time, I can go into the other macros area, and I can go to the external content, or I can just simply search for EduBrite, and then you'll see once I search, all these different macros are available. So for example, if I want to create a page with the catalog macro, and the use cases perspective, if you really see, you may have multiple themes, or you may have multiple business units, and you can create a different training and point of entry. So you can create a space for them, or they may be already having some separate space, and within that space you can create a training, some training related pages, and that's where you can embed the catalog. And when you are embedding a catalog, this is where you can do a lot of controls in the macros. So for example, if you want certain teams to have all different types of learning content available, single courses, multiple courses, instructor-led classroom, you can have that. But maybe there is a group where only the e-learning is important, or only the events, the instructor-led are important. Then in that case, you can just select those options here. And if you do a preview at this point of time, you will notice that that because we have selected already one item type, so that option has gone from here of a filter down, filtering from a different options, the type of options that those were available, and you only see here the instructor-led classes, those are available, so you can insert that here. Similarly, if I go here and pick up just one more macro, so for example, maybe open learning macro, if I am embedding. So in the open learning, essentially, when we logged in as a user, we saw there were different sections. those were available for a user. And these were the different sections which are represented here. So you may have an option here that you can select that what are the different sections you want to show in the open learning, and once you insert that, those will be shown to the user. So let me just move this to next page, next line here, and similarly I can go and add one more macro just to quickly show you something. Like the user information macro. I'm not going to add this macro, but just to quickly show you that when I logged in as a user, this particular user, I was able to view, when I logged in as an end user, I was able to view the programs, courses, some badges they have won, and because all these were selected for in this user info macro, which we have seen here from the end user perspective here, what we were seeing. So this was the user macro that I was referring to. And in the open learning, I know I forgot to actually show you this, what I was talking to you when I was setting up a macro. So let me revisit that real quick here. So in the open learning page, when you go here, as I've mentioned previously, that you see contextual information here. So here you can see all the recently viewed for this particular user. Similarly, if this user has followed up certain videos or certain documents in the open learning, you will see that. Similarly, you will see the popular, and popular is based on the what all other teams are viewing the content, and that derives the popularity here. Similarly, I have shown you how to create a playlist. So if you have created a playlist, you can just simply click on the playlist, and playlist essentially allows you to create essentially curate your own content, create your own list of what you think would be more useful for your work perspective, and then you can just simply see all the content that is part of the playlist, and then you can play it. And you can have multiple playlists, so you may be playing a role where you think you may need a different playlist, so you can have multiple playlists. And random picks essentially here in the open learning shows you the items which are not covered on the top. Essentially the idea here is some of the content, every time you refresh, shows something new content that is not being visited by this particular user, or not in the not got users attention. So a new content can get users attention. That is the whole idea with the this particular random pick. So I'm switching back onto the Confluence admin view, and that's what I was showing you when in the open learning here you can add these different sections, so you can control which of these sections you want for your end users to see, and then you can just simply publish it. While it is loading, I can just switch my gear onto some other macros. So we have another macro called a leaderboard macro, and leaderboard macro essentially allows you to view the progress across the organization, that who are the leaders. And you also have a control here if you want to limit the list here to your specific team. Then in a macro you have a setting to limit it that. In addition to that, we have a lot of reporting available through the macros right in this environment. And what we have done is just we have created just a small page here with all the different reports. Those are available, and I have these reports already opened here. Some of the reports are open, so you can just quickly, for example, see the progress of your team. If you're overall administrator, you'll be able to see the progress of your team. You can filter the team right from here and then see their progress. Similarly, the learners report allows you to view the progress of different learners who have completed. So for example, you can see the course name, the username, the date they are enrolled, when they completed, and who has completed. That kind of information is available for you. Similarly, this report is more about the instructor-led classes. So if you have the instructor-led classes, you would be able to see that what are the classes being attended by the people who have joined. For the instructor classroom training class, instructor has to mark manually the attendance, but for the online live instructor class, those people who join to the classroom, their attendance gets marked automatically. And these all records can be available for a download in CSV format in the different report. This is another report just to give you a quick view of the overall uses of the platform, that what exactly is happening. If you want to have a bird's eye view, that how people are watching the different courses, signing in, completing tests, those kind of things, you will be able to see that. So I think we almost covered almost all of the macros. Those were available there. If there are any specific question in any specific macros or any specific area or any specific use you would like to discuss, then feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to answer that.
So Manish, can we go into the the LMS view, the admin functionality? Because there are some questions about how would I create these trainings and who can create these trainings?
Yeah, so we can certainly do that. So let me just go here. So there are a couple of ways you can get into the. You need to have the an account to log into the LMS directly. So first of all, your administrator can log into the LMS directly. And one of the option is that you see here in here you can see the launch new window that can take them directly to the linked LMS platform, and that's where they can see all the different options. Those are available to them in the platform side of it. And this is where actually the actual building of courses and actual building of tests that takes place here. So for example, if I go here and if I need to build a test, I can just simply go here in the test view. And so all what I was showing you previously, open learning or course catalog or the dashboard, all those options are available in the EduBrite platform also for those people who log into the EduBrite. Now this is a default site I have, but if you need to create a fully branded experience in this particular site, you'll be able to do that. So what I'm going to do here, just for a simplicity's sake, I'll use one of the existing tests and I'll just can show you how you can add a question to that. So for example, this is a already created test and there's a one question added there. If I need to add another question, I can just simply go and select the question, and it will give me the option what kind of a question I want to add. So I can select, for example, the most popular, multiple choice, or fill in the blank, or sequencing essay. I can select anyone. So let me just select one option here, and you can see a templated question is added, and question 2 is also added in the index here. So if I need to add more choices, I can simply go here and keep adding any number of choices here, and then I can start simply typing here. So I can type anything here, and then I can do some formatting if I need to do, and then I can say, the choice number 2 is the correct answer. So this is how normally you would build your test. Anytime you need to see a preview, you can see a quick preview of this question which you have added. So this is a quick view of building the test, and there are some advanced options. You will find the details about those in our knowledge base or video tutorial. And then quickly, the course creation is, you can go into the course menu, and this is where you will see a lot of courses and the course, one of the course which we were taking. So I can again pick one of the pre-created course here and just show you how you can quickly add the content. So for example, this is a course which already has a module and a lesson. If I need to add another lesson, I can just simply right click here and add a lesson, and then it gives me the option that what kind of a content I want to add. So whether I want to add a Word, PowerPoint, PDF, document type of thing, or whether I want to use online editor to add that, or I want to add a video, or do I have, if I'm looking for external sources like YouTube, Vimeo, Prezi, those kind of options are available. So let me just, for example, click first option, and then all you have to do is simply drag and drop file here to add a lesson. So let me just get a file. I have another screen open here, so I'm just grabbing a file from there and dragging and just dropping here. So you can see a new lesson is added. Similarly, if I need to add another module, I can add another module. And in this, if I need to add a test, I can just simply go add a test, and I can select the test. Those are already pre-created like I have shown you. So it will show me the list of available tests, and I can add here. So you can see this is normally how you would build a course in EduBrite. And once the course is built in EduBrite, then there are a couple of steps to make it available either in the catalog or to the learners where you can enroll them. And anytime if you need to see a quick preview, you can just quickly see a preview of what you're building here. So you can see this is just you have opened it in a preview mode, and you can see what you have added so far here.
Another question, Manish, is about how would somebody use knowledge base content from Confluence to build the course content here?
Yeah, so there are a couple of ways it can be done here. So for example, we do have option here available where if you go into the create content, the second option here, we have an option here to, you can see this, the paste the Confluence page URL here. So you can paste the Confluence page URL here. Let me just get this one, and then I can just simply paste here. And what we do essentially very similar. This is a similar exercise where you have the YouTube, Vimeo. You just need a URL. You can just simply get it and then put this here. So you can see the page is imported here in EduBrite, and then we have if the page changes, we do have a backend mechanism written where periodically it syncs the page. So if there are any changes in the page, that would be available to the user. So you can essentially add a Confluence page as a lesson, like any other different types of content, which we are allowing you to create a multimedia, a structured type of experience. Confluence page can be just a lesson in that assembly.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of more questions. How can external users access our Confluence instance?
External user access the Confluence instance or EduBrite instance?
I think it's asked as Confluence instance. So I guess probably the yeah, I'm not sure. So Confluence, I think access to Confluence will be controlled by your Confluence administrator. But generally, what we suggest is, in case you want to allow external audience, such as your customers, who otherwise don't have Confluence access, and if you want to train them, then you can directly open the EduBrite access through the portal.
Yeah, this is, I have opened just, maybe this was the question. And so this is the same Confluence site where I have logged in here. You can see EB Confluence demo. I have just opened in the incognito mode. So this is what I was talking to you, that this can be fully branded. And this is the same site which is connected with the Confluence. But for external training, if you are looking, as Ajay is saying, to directly users to come to this is where they will come. And this is where they can see the open learning, course catalog and everything, what you want to show them. And this is where they will have their sign in. So if you want user to log in into EduBrite directly, you can do that. Or maybe if you have some customer portal, from there, if you want to do a single sign-on for your users to come into EduBrite, then they can come through that also into this platform.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Second question is, can you show how Gilly is used?
Okay, so Gilly essentially, what I have shown you is essentially what Gilly is really helping. Gilly is nothing but a connector, and that connector essentially allows you to connect EduBrite platform with your Confluence platform. So all those 10 macros which I was showing you, on the left side where I was showing you this navigation, on these menu options are showing up. All these are coming up because of that integration, because you have added Gilly add-on to your Confluence. So it is the Gilly itself is not a product, it is a connector which is connecting one full-fledged LMS platform to another full-fledged knowledge-based wiki platform, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And while you read other question, Ajay, I just wanted to quickly show one more thing here while I'm on the admin side of it. From a user's perspective, we talked about the because of this Gilly integration, you will see this option in EduBrite that import from Confluence. And what this option allows you to view is, it allows you to view all the groups and you can see the groups that are available in the Confluence. So if you want to sync this group into EduBrite, you can just handpick those group, and then you can just import those group into EduBrite. And once you import them to EduBrite, then you can organize them, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you can also have auto sync enabled for certain groups. So if a new user is added, let's say to a marketing group or a sales team, they will be automatically brought into EduBrite. And in the EduBrite, initially when these group come, they come in a flat structure, like you can see all the groups here. But as I was showing you in one of the diagram, you can reorganize these groups. So you can put them in some structure here. So for example, I have a training group as a parent. Within the training group, I have a corporate group. Within the corporate group, I have the sales, marketing, or engineering groups. And these are the groups which are imported from Confluence. So they are correspondingly linked. So in case if you add a user in your sales team in your Confluence, that will come to this particular group automatically, because this sales group is linked with your other Confluence sales group over there.
Yeah, and one more question is asked about do you provide training for the administrators on how to use EduBrite?
Absolutely. We help all the way. If you really see, so we are not offering only the platform, but EduBrite essentially is with any customer, they work as a solution provider. So not only the training is just one aspect, but the understanding your business needs, business requirements, and helping you through the implementation process so that you are up and running with fully branded or personalized experience, how you would like it to be. We fully support that. And one of a very good example is, I don't want to brag about it, but you can see this is the EduBrite University, which we have set up for external training. So if you go, this is our own platform we are using, and you can see there are different aspects of our platform which we have highlighted, which I have shown you how you can consume on the Confluence side of it. But this gives you an option if you need to visit it to see how an external user can have a branded experience.
Okay, I think we are right towards the end now. We're almost finished 1 hour. So maybe just discuss about the summit quickly, and then we can wrap up.
All right, so let's just quickly go into we were on a Q&A. So we are, so Atlassian Summit is there around the corner, is in less than 2 weeks. And EduBrite is one of the sponsor. So you can find us at the Expo Hall at booth 1303. And so if you are joining this summit, then we would love to chat with you. So please stop by. And you can contact us, also follow us on the Twitter EduBrite for some more announcement related to summit.
All right, and as Manish already showed the university.edubrite.com, so that's a good place to register yourself as a user to keep following the user discussions or post any question you might have for us to answer or for other users to answer, and also look at all the new content that we keep on publishing in the knowledge base articles or in the form of self-help videos or courses.
Great. So thank you very much, Ajay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. We'll be posting the recording of this webinar on the university site, so feel free to review it or share with your colleagues.